and welcome to the race highlights for the 6th round of Tour Sorel Season 2 in ACC at Kalami. On the grid, Sam qualified on pole ahead of Ruben van den Hudding. Then we have Jugos in P4, we have Oliver Stricker, then myself in P5, P6 is Nico Veldman, and then Müllers on the 4th row alongside Bas Kessel with Tipsy in P9. On the first lap, we go racing, and it is a head-to-head start between Chumley and Ruben, but it looks like Chumley's got the jump for now, but now the inside is the one of the Audi, and Ollie has a look on the inside, and he dives really deep into that corner. He temporarily takes to P2, but Van den Hudding comes out on top. Further down the order, there's a little bit of an incident though, as Tipsy and Pixel, the two Irishmen, collide after a quick incident with Bans. So that wasn't too brilliant. Now here Costa goes for a move on Kessel, but he gets attacked from behind from Bans, and Kessel is spun round after a good qualifying performance. He's facing the wrong direction and has to refocus, and Pixel, after a bad start with getting punted, loses control in the S's, and that isn't too well. And now Davy Breeman, they go, and Jack Mills go into the death curb corner, and Breeman turns in there, and they make contact, so that wasn't too good. So a little bit up the order, we look at Ollie in P3, but he makes the mistake, and that is really easy to do, and Jugos is temporarily lost the position at the start, slips through, then it's Veld and me. And here we've got Mills in P13, who inexplicably spins on traction and that goes straight into the wall. And as you can see, the front of that McLaren doesn't look as pretty as it used to. Millers, further down the order, taps the grass on entry after having spun in this corner previously, and facing the wrong way, he's going to lose a lot of positions. P14, Kennedy Chikeka, and he goes through the same corner, which is really treacherous here, and he gets collected by Bedell. So both of them take some big damage, and that is not good for their race. It's lap 6, and the fight for the win has been raging on for hours. Well, not hours. That's actually pretty hyperbolic. For a long time though, and finally Ruben gets the move done for the lead, and now he'll try and run away with this. Ollie further down the order makes a mistake. He mounts that curb too much, and the Audi doesn't like curbs, so Veld and I slip through, and this is going to be a battle group for P4 from now on. Tipsy makes a big mistake in the braking zone and collides with his F1 teammate Bans. Breeman goes for a move on Krushva, and they're gonna run side by side. The next one is the right hand. It's the Krushva. He's got the inside, but Breeman doesn't respect this, and he goes into that, hops the curb, taps Krushva again. So not the cleanest of fights down there. Lap 18, and Krushva, who we've seen taking damage earlier, makes a mistake on traction and goes goodbye. A bad race turns worse for him. We jump 10 laps ahead, and Veld, who's breathing down my neck for laps now after I've undercut him, makes a mistake here as he sticks his nose in, and I turn in, so I'm spun round. When we get past, here comes Ollie in the white and blue Audi, and he's now in P4, which means that we're gonna fight for that. But after I've been punted, I lost a little bit of confidence, and Veld uses that and passes me some now down in P6, and behind me, breathing down my neck, is Alexander Carsten, and that's where we leave off in the last turn, and yeah, he punts into my rear, and then he redirects me, so missed his braking point there, I think, and he gives me the position back, so it's fine. And Van den Hudding, after a pretty solid drive, didn't lead after lap 1, but made the pass for the lead, and then just ran away from Sam. Wins this race ahead of Sam, of course. And then P3 is going to be Jugos, who's had a little bit of a problem off track as well. Ollie with a really good finish in P4, Veld P5, I myself P6. And we've got Alexander Karsten in P7 after recovery, and Bas Kessel P8 also recovering after that lap 1 incident. So therefore Yugos takes the lead of the Drivers' Championship ahead of Sam, then Novak, who didn't drive today, and then Van den Hutting in P4 ahead of his compatriot Velde in P5. For the constructors, that means Mission winner Grazie Ragazzi extend their lead in the championship, 121 points ahead of Barrel Roll Racing and Trigon Racing. Then the Silver Bastards are actually in P4.
So here we are on board the Aston Martin of Mr. Nico Veldman, as he is coming around to set a lap on his home patch of Holland on Zandvoort. So his eyes will be firmly fixed up ahead here. Roughly about this white line is your braking zone. Early apex, then drifting out a little bit, and then early on the throttle again, avoiding too much running wide there. Just before the curb ends, a little dab on the brakes, avoiding the inside curb and the outside curb. It will upset the car tremendously. Early on the power here, up the hill, setting yourself up for this next potentially disastrous corner for many drivers we've seen over the seasons here. This downhill right-hander, just at the orange part of that curve, the barrier, a little lift off, and then feeling that traction on the rear end, feeling the force feedback kicking back in you. This little kink on the left is roughly your brake zone. A little bit of the inside curve picking up the throttle. This is a tricky brake zone. It's roughly before that right hand side sign, and then the next one is roughly around about the ambulance here. Don't be using too much curb here, and don't accelerate too early as well, because you don't want to run out onto that curb on the right hand side. It will drag you into the sand. This next zone here, just before the curb on the left, heavy braking, and you can use a little bit of the inside curb. Avoid too much of this right hand curb, avoiding those yellow strips, because that will really upset your rhythm. Just as the that barrier on the right ends is where you want to look to turn in here. Full on the throttle, picking it up, hugging as much as you can on the inside there, because you don't want to run out too wide here. And nice and tidy from Hygrid as he crosses the line to complete a lap of Zandvoort.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Assetto Corsa Competizione. We are here round 6, I believe. Round 6, yes, here in Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix. I am its Triton, and that there was your hot lap. We had one this week, so thank you to Tipsy and Mr. Nico Veldman for providing that for us, and also to the guys in the council of the 2S Discord, the ACC Council, for bringing it all together. So that's Timo, Jack Mills, and Mr. Tim Novak. So, we, as you guys can see, have a title fight on our hands here once again, and it is going to be a very good one, because this is going to be quite the event, or these are going to be quite the events here going on in these final few rounds of the season, because it is starting to heat up. So let's go right on board with the guy who's currently making his return. Unfortunately, this guy, Tim Novak, his championship aspirations took a bit of a hit because he was unable to show up last week, while the guy who just puts it on pole, Mr. Ruben van den Hutting, is our race winner from last week, so he is back in the championship fight. Rene is P2 in the Porsche, which is somewhat to be expected, seeing as both Rene is a very faster driver, and also the Porsche is probably, from what I have understood, to be the car to watch out for this weekend. So, as I was saying, we do have a championship fight. As you saw, Hugo is currently leading, but not by much, because Mr. Sam Chumley, who's sitting P5 at the moment, is just barely behind him, as is Mr. Novak. And then Van den Hutting and Nico Veldman are both sitting there waiting for a few of these guys to make mistakes, and then they will be in it as well. So this is a very exciting second half to the championship that we're getting. So actually, I believe this is an error. It is round 7. My apologies. So I think the stream is wrong, but that's okay. we're all okay. So, I see Mr. Terra Incognita in the chat. There is good to see you. Hello. Um, Greetings from the booth here, and hello to the Dragon and Mr. Jack Mills, who I mentioned earlier. Yes, Tipsy's voice is always hype, as we know. So let's see what we can get going on here. In terms of track layout, I'll talk a bit about this. This is a tough one to watch. I mean, to race on. To watch, it's gonna be fine. It's always fine, but in terms of overtaking, you're not gonna see much of it here, unfortunately. This is kind of like Monaco, so to speak, without the barriers, because it is a very narrow, very twisty track. It is sort of like a roller coaster. I'm a lot more familiar with it nowadays, since I have been playing a lot more ACC to work my way into doing some of the enduro races that I've signed up for with my two trusty teammates, who I've mentioned, the guy on pole position at the moment, Mr. Hugo, and Mr. Veldman as well. We did our first endurance race, which did not go very well, but that's another story. But since I've been getting a little bit more involved with the game, figuring things out, I have noticed, yes, there is a lot of interesting techniques and stuff that I never really learned about, and also the track layouts are vastly different, of course, seeing as, in my opinion, because I mostly do F1, I personally think I think it's kind of obvious that AC and ACC get the track layouts fairly solidly, so I'm very impressed with it. So it's a lot more fun to drive in a way. Of course, I prefer driving F1 cars since there's a lot more downforce in them. But these cars are an absolute treat to drive in some of these tracks. So that does add to the experience, like here in Zandvoort, where it is, as I said, a roller coaster ride through the whole lap. Pretty much no room to breathe, because every corner comes right at you, as we're gonna see. So we'll ride on board with the hometown hero, Mr. Veldman, for a bit, as we did in the hot lap video. We'll see it live here. Currently sitting P10, but we know he is a very fast and very competent driver. He can improve. So currently Hugo, the championship leader, on pole position with Vanden Hutting right behind him. Okay, as he gets a bit of a warm-up, so we're going to watch his lap here, and I guess I'll do a little bit of a live comm of the lap, but just to see how he takes it. And Rene Bon showing a very strong performance right now, P3 there, ahead of Tim Novak, sitting P2 in the championship. Alexander Karsten, another strong driver, sitting P5, and Sam Chumley, the second, or one of the other championship contenders, P6, as Mr. Bell stomps the brakes, hugs the inside curve here, takes an early apex and keeps it running there. Now comes on to the second corner here, hits the brakes, and he's going to go right for the next turn. In turn 3 we got yellows somewhere, so hopefully that doesn't bother his lap. Into the carousel kind of hairpin there. I forget the name of it, as we come to this flat out sector here now, as the Ferrari ahead there makes way for him. Like a roller coaster here, just a straight with these curves that you don't lift off for. Now as the orange starts there, hits the brakes, curves in, fast high speed corner here, hits that, takes that curve there. As the sign ends, it's going to hit the brakes, chuck the car into this quick right-hander that turns into another right-hander as the curve ends. A little bit after that, takes a late apex, gets the turn in properly. Now he's going to come up to this right-hander that turns into a left-hander curve onto the second sort of straight here. You're going to see as he gets the power down as early as he can, gets kind of lets the car run wide there, similar to some of the corners of Mugello that you've driven there. As he comes up to the curve here, after the line there, on the curve starting there, hits the brakes, takes this right-left chicane, and now runs the car a little bit wide here. Actually, no, he doesn't. He takes it very narrow, so gets his speed in well. After that, marker board on the side ends a little bit after, hits the brakes, turns in, now carries speed into this right-hander, fast right-hander in an F1, for the F1 layout. It is a banking now as he gets the power down, crosses the line. Now, is this an improvement? This is just enough 4/10 improvement actually there, I think, so that's up to P8 for him, but he's going to be going again. So I know we had 2 hot laps there, but I just wanted to cover it myself because I do like this track layout. So we have we're approaching the final minutes of qualifying, so this is going to be a It's going to be a bit of a mad dash here in these final few minutes. So right now Van Hutting has put it onto pole position. Milos, pole sitter last year, trying to regain his form, not having the best season unfortunately, struggling a bit in the Ferrari, but is still trying his best to get the work done, and he is showing very good pace at the moment, and has been showing good pace here and there as, ooh, what's happening here? Okay, I think that was a bit of a lag for me, my bad. But, oh no, he's just going off the road. Okay, so, Karsten here as well stopped on the start finish straight, trying to get, I think, back into the pits, yep. So, currently, they're probably going to go out for one final run here. Everyone else is on the road at the moment. I don't think we don't have much of a turn up here, actually. We only have 18 drivers, now that I realize it, which is, it's unfortunate, but hopefully, I thought we had 19, but seeing as it is Zandvoort, a lot of people are still kind of working with F1 2020, it's to be expected, but 18 drivers is still a fairly decent turnout, so. Right on board as well. Let's see the man himself, the voice of EGL. Okay, we do have another person in. Actually, we have Mr. Mearsman makes his appearance back. So we'll see now, or somebody else. I think we'll see how Tipsy Bob gets along around the circuit. Zandvoort, his teammate behind him there in the wake, which I mean is not going to do much, of course, because there's not much slipstream with these cars. So, not to say that it does not exist, but it is not as pronounced as other high downforce cars. So, but with that comes less dirty air, so it's easier to follow. So, let's see how Tipsy attacks these corners here into the left and the right. You see how these corners just feed into each other. Fast and flowing circuit, very, very interesting to drive, very fun as well. It may not be fun to race in per se wheel to wheel, but it is a fun circuit to drive. Similar to Monaco, if you've driven that, it's really fun to hook up a lap depending on who you are at Monaco. I always like getting a good lap at Monaco. Singapore as well is always fun to hook up, but for racing, those are not particularly solid racetracks to drive, I guess, but who knows, you know, there's always overtaking possibilities here and there. You might get a good run. It's always available. As Tipsy crosses the line here, he's does not improve that time around, but I think he's gonna go again, is he? But the flag is waving, so we're gonna keep an eye out. Hugo is in the pits. He is not improving. We'll see what Milos can do here, if he can reclaim pole position like he did last year. Van den Hutting has crossed the line. He is doing a 35 or 35.5. That is provisional pole at the moment. We'll see what Mr. Martica can do here, running around in that Ferrari with the currently in the lead of the, or he and Hugo are currently in the lead of the championship in the constructors. Ollie Stryker is P8 now. Mr. Veldman, or Nico Veldman, P9. Tipsy still P10. Moberg, who had raced the first round, is where is he? He's pulled over there. He's P12, but he did get a podium his first time out here. So let's see if he can replicate that from behind. Milos clouds the curb a bit and unsettles the car, but let's see if he can get it done here as he comes across to the final corners here into the banking, or the final, not the banking, I mean the final curve here. Runs a bit wide there, might have gotten away with it there as he comes across the line here. Alexander Karsten goes P4, Rene is P5 at the moment, Tim Novak is P6, and Milos is backing out of it, so that is not going to be pole position, but it is a solid result nonetheless, unless Rene can actually, no, he cannot jump him there. Pintado, Mr. Pintado in the Porsche as well, crossing the line. P10 there, Tipsy P11 now. Ollie Stryker, after a good result last week, is P8. And I believe that is qualifying. Bas Kessel is still out there. He crossed the line, he stays P9, so let's see. Apparently I can turn this off. So I had to remind people so I don't upset Mr. Wimpy and the EGL board. Ooh. Oh, I'll just say that. Well, let's give everyone a good luck. Now, if you have not already, I suggest you guys leave a like on the stream and be sure to subscribe and check out the EGL channel because there's a lot going on these few days. So we do have we actually have a special event coming up. I believe next week. I think it is the SLR versus GRL special event, 100% race at Silverstone. That will be going on, I believe, at the same time as next round, which is going to be Spa-Francorchamps. So you guys can, if you guys have two monitors or something, you can check both of them out at the same time. Two different races, two different tracks. One of them is going to probably go longer, but of course, that being a 100% race, this is an hour-long race. That is definitely going to go longer. We also have all three tiers of 2SRL being streamed for ACC. We have all four tiers, I believe, being streamed for SLR. You can find the information in the comment or in the description, I believe, and you can find all the streams on the EGL channel. If you subscribe, they will be scheduled, so you can check them out there. Especially if you want to see more of F1 2020, since it is still fairly new, almost not even a month old yet. A lot of hype around it, so be sure to tune in for that. But the man on pole position, last week's race winner, let's see if he can get on with it here. But he has got the championship leader behind him and looking very feisty indeed, Mr. Hugo. And his teammate Milos in P3 behind as well, looking to get on with it and claim his first win in ACC, I believe. So, let's also not count out Karsten here. How do I get that out? There we go. So, as we get on with the formation lap, what is happening here? Do we have a stall here? Mr. Mearsman not getting on with it here. I don't know what's happened there. But, I think he's AFK or something. That's not good. But, or something's happening there. But, we'll have to see what is happening here up front because we are going to get ready to go green here for the 7th round of ACC. The championship fight is alive and ready to go as the lights are ready to go out now, and we're going to get the green flag any minute now. And here we go then, round 7 of ACC is underway. Good start from Van den Hutting, goes to cover off Hugo. Milos gets a decent start as well, sort of, but getting swamped there by Rene Bon in the Porsche. Into turn 1, Light Cruiser goes, and that's a drive-through for Veldman, actually, so that is a big disaster for him. And Hugo keeps P2, Milos sticking behind him. Karsten loses a place out to Rene, who's gotten a good start as well. There's a fight in the back here. Chumley, the championship, P2 in the championship. Tim Novak and Ollie Stryker going at it. Veldman trying to make up ground here against Vas Kessel. So far, so good. There's a lot going on here in the back. All these cars gaggled up. We see Pintado, Moberg, and Tipsy all going wheel to wheel there. Mearsman does get away, but he has a 30-second stop and go penalty, I think, for that start, for whatever happened there, unfortunately for him, as Karsten kind of trying to get that place back on Rene, but is falling behind a little bit. Tim Novak is trying to apply the pressure onto Ollie at the moment as well. Sam Chumley and Vas Kessel behind as well. So far, so good, though, for Van den Hutting, getting away very cleanly there as Hugo and Milos having a look at each other there. Rene and Karsten fighting out wheel to wheel. Is Karsten going to be able to claim that position back? Here he goes into the chicane here. Rene has the inside line, though, and is going to hold that very well. So, at the moment, a lot of fun and games going on. So, Ollie trying to slot in behind Karsten. Let's see what's happening in the back there. I think Marius Torres has made contact somewhere and fallen down the order. Pintado in the Porsche on the back of Veldman, who's going to have to go through the pits, and due to his drive-through penalty, possibly for jumping the start of somehow. Yeah, there he goes. So that is a big disaster for him, unfortunately, in his home race. So up front, Van den Hutting has a 2-second gap already, so Hugo might be struggling a little bit. So let's see what the Ferrari team principals are going to be saying at the moment if Milos is faster. So, especially considering that, yeah, that was a very impressive start. I agree. Clean from everyone. Veldman exiting the pits now. Tipsy as well has made a mistake somewhere. He's actually fallen down the order, so I don't know if that was contact or anything, but that's a big disaster for him as well, dropping down the order. So go back up front here to see what is going on. Is this magic? First clean first lap, yes. Right now, Rene is putting all sorts of pressure on the two Ferraris, but Milos starting to lose some ground to Hugo, who's starting to get the move on it. So Milos might be falling down a bit here. We'll see what these guys can do if Milos can hold on to his teammate. He's looking in a very good position right now if he can keep it clean. Rene, though, is lurking in the back, looking very fast indeed from qualifying. And Alexander Karsten as well. We know how good he is in race trim if you've been following along. So a big disaster for the Silvers, as I call them. Both teammates running in the last two positions right now here at Zandvoort. Unfortunate for them, but now Karsten trying to line up the Porsche, but not really able to do much with it there. As we're right on board with Ollie Stricker, trying his best to find some ground here. Everyone kind of squirming around here. Tim Novak and Sam Chumley, the P2 and P3 in the championship, struggling a bit here. Chumley under immense pressure from Kessel, and somebody else we haven't talked about here, Timo Brown, the reigning champion, struggling here in P13 as he goes off the road a little bit as well. So struggling a bit, but he's got Jos Meersman all over the back of him. So we'll see what we'll see if he can hold this position off. Of course, he has a 30-second stop and go penalty that he has to serve, so this is kind of fruitless. So it's not worth it to fight for Timo, but he might not know that. So the reigning champion struggling for grip here, unfortunately. Back up front, big gaggle of cars here looking all over each other. Karsten still trying to find a way past Mr. Bond here. So thank you, Jensen, I appreciate that. Good, it's working well. I had to tweak a few things here and there, and I actually did turn up the settings a bit because I don't think the frame rate's going to matter anymore. It's just going to be it's not going to be particularly great whether I have any settings, but thankfully I do have the lag a little bit gone, but let's hope it stays that way. In the back there, though, we have a battle. Ollie Stricker having to go defensive there from Tim Novak, as Sam Chumley actually makes a bit of a mistake and falls down the order, but at the moment Ollie Stricker holding his own against Novak, as Kessel behind as well is looking very good, as for not serving that 30-second stop-go penalty, that is a disqualification for Meersman, as Pedro Costa is coming to the pits as well, so might have damage there from something, unfortunately, so he might have to go long on a set of tires and just stretch this to the end. But up front, let's see what is happening. Novak, one of the faster drivers, of course, in the league here, putting all sorts of pressure on the Audi of Stricker, and he's got another Audi behind him. The guy who's leading this race, his teammate Bas Kessel, trying to get into this action as well, driving a consistent race. One of the more consistent drivers, of course, as I say, very clean, very collected. So let's see how this will play out for him. But behind now, the two Ferraris lining up. Not making ground. Vanden Hutting is absolutely gunning it and looking very comfortable indeed. Driving a very solid race so far. Had a bit of a struggle in the beginning of the season, but then getting some good results here and then winning his first race of this season. Last time out in Kailami, as you saw from the highlights, and put himself back into the championship fight. And as I said, a slight slip up for many of these guys, and as we can see, Chumley already struggling here in P10. And if Hugo, who's looking to be the man to win this championship, if he messes anything up as well, he might be in trouble in this championship, because look at the speed Vanden Hutting has got. It might be too little too late, similar to Novak's charge against Timo last season, but it is a charge nonetheless, and as we say there, it is never over until it is over, until the last lap has been crossed on the last round. So as we see that Porsche, the Audi is very shaky. I don't know if that was the lag of the camera or like from the game or whatever, but that was quite laggy. So right now we might have a bit of a predicament here, as the guys here are looking a bit racy, or Milos looking very fast at the moment compared to his teammate, who might be slowing down a little bit here and is getting under pressure now from Rene Bon. So Karsten holding his own in the back. Stricker holding off the fight from Tim Novak, who is trying to desperately reclaim a championship fight after being unable to make it last week out in Kailami, which dented his championships quite severely, unfortunately for him, through no fault of his own on the track. Of course, him having everyone has to eventually, you know, make or have other things going on in life. I've missed some important rounds, as there's a contact there, and Novak goes into the back of Stricker there, and that is disaster for these two. And now, just as I said it, that is a lot of people going through there. So Kessel goes through, Pintado goes through, Chumley goes through, Olive goes through, and yeah, Novak giving the position back. Good sportsmanship, but as the FIA notes, that is, they don't really seem to care if you do that. Just keep going with it. You made the mistake, just own it. But I mean, we do respect the sportsmanship here on stream, and I am all for that. I would have done the same personally, but if it's that is just a big disappointment there. First big incident I think that we've seen. Yeah, the battle for second. Let's get back to that now. There is 3 cars here, 3 drivers of whom I am very familiar with, and all very skilled here, as Milos having to defend a little bit from Rene, who's looking rapid in the Porsche, but trying to feed it around the outside, but not going to get it done there. Karsten might actually try and get in on the action as well. He's still lurking there. So, yeah, Ollie, no. It's smooth, yes, thank you, Jensen. I appreciate the kind words. Congratulations to you as well. I'll give you a shout out here. 10,000 subscribers on YouTube for our very own Jensen89. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe to him. Had massive lag, so disqualification. Unfortunate. Yoss says, oh no, there's contact there. These two bumping it out there, Rene and Milos, and muscling his way through a bit, Rene. So I don't know what they're gonna say about that one, but that might not have been very nice from these two. So hopefully no damage. Let's see, there's some scraping going on there. A little bit of contact there, of course. Not very nice from Rene and Milos there potentially. So if I might want to have a look into that one. But good stuff indeed. Good job to Rene getting the move regardless. So Mr. Harris, Mr. Mark knows. he knows what the clean moves are better than me. I think so. I'll let him judge it. Okay. Yeah, I think you saw more of it than me. So a little bit too late. So from Milos there. Unfortunate. We got yellows somewhere, so I'm gonna take a look back here. Yeah, I think Ollie fell back a little bit further now again. So all falling apart here, driving a good race until the contact there. Novak as well, taking a big dent to his championship fights here, and now trying to fight it out with Eric Moberg, our substitute for the day, who nearly spins coming onto the back straight here. So Kennedy Chikeka, Novak's teammate, might be able to get a little bit away, get a little bit of leeway from this, but go back up front here. Let's see if Karsten is able to get past Milos, losing his podium position there. Unfortunate to you, Jos. I know, yeah, it's unfortunate to lag out. I would very much know that from a streamer perspective, but Karsten trying to put the pressure on. In the meantime, Rene trying to get the move, or trying to get some ground made up onto Hugo and disrupt him, but it seems as though Van Hutting might go unchallenged for the moment, until, right, for this stint at least, barring any major incidents for him. As Ollie goes into the pits, I don't know if he's going to be retiring or if he's going to go take his pit stop now and then try and go long for the next 47 minutes of this race. The rules are, of course, as I mentioned, if you've been keeping an eye on it, the number 1, you see there, the yellow number 1, or orange yellow, whatever you want to call it, number 1 on the side of the lap counter and the intervals there. That is the pit stops that you need to make. So if you have not made a pit stop, that will not be green. If it is green, then that means you have made your mandatory pit stop and you can keep going. So Karsten, meanwhile, still putting some pressure on Milos. Milos struggling a little bit. So we'll see as well. Rene trying to is making a bit of ground up on Hugo. So let's talk a bit about Hugo. If you guys have been watching the SLR and 2S races, this has been the guy to beat in F1 and in ACC now both, because he has been on an absolute rain. Or he has been raining fire upon the leagues as Milos loses the rear a little bit, flips the curb but gets away with it. Karsten might not be able to have a look there, trying to find a way around, but of course Zandvoort, being difficult to pass, is unable to find a way through. But Hugo, as I said, raining fire down upon the leagues in SLR. I believe he was up there and fighting for the race win until had a bit of an incident towards the end of the race, unfortunately, and then in 2 SRL Tier 1, which is oh dear, there's a car off somewhere. Who's gone off? Oh, that's Costa. He's out of the race and left the session. Unfortunate for him. But Hugo, in the 2S season opener, put in an absolutely stellar pole position lap and absolutely took off. I believe he was on pole position, but put in a very good qualifying and then took off in the race. There was a safety car. He and I did the same strategy where we stayed out under the safety car and were first and second on used softs. He was able to take off because, I mean, he's much faster than me. And even though it turns out we were on the wrong strategy, because we ended up losing our tires and it was raining towards the end, he actually pit for medium tires and gunned it and was able to win the race on penalties because of it, driving an absolutely stellar race. As behind we have Karsten and Milos going very close together somewhere, so unable to get the move done though, Karsten. So let's see the move, or let's see how the McLaren is in a straight line, because he's looking very racy. Pintado, meanwhile, holding off the fight from Sam Chumley. And Timo not really making ground on these guys at the moment, still in P10, but of course people are making mistakes. And here now, Ollie Stricker, who was running a good race, is now approaching being lapped by the leaders. He's already been lapped by Van den Hudding, unfortunately. And now Bon is putting the pressure on Hugo for P2, so looking very racy indeed. Not having a particularly great season in these cars, but is looking good at the moment. So let's take a look in the back as well. I think, oh, there's a bit of an off there. That is Olive going off and letting Timo through there. Unfortunately for him, making a bit of a mistake, but he's going to try and fight this back down the inside though. Timo goes and gets the move done. So just a bit of an error there, which can happen under these circumstances and these conditions, of course, in these endurance conditions. Let's see how the fight is going to go up here now. The battle for P2 is heating up. Bon trying his best to find a way past, but of course, this being Zandvoort, it is very difficult. So Olive though was looking particularly fast, so let's see if he's able to keep up with Hugo, or I mean with Timo. Oh, that is okay, that's saved. Yeah, that's Rene off the road there nearly, but gets it back under control, thankfully for him, because that would have been quite the disaster for him. He's running a good race and nearly chucked it all the way there with one little mistake, but was able to get the car under control, thankfully. So at the front, Hugo is still doing his best to just hold off this. I think he is playing the long game here. He might not be trying to go for the attack on Vandenhouding at the moment, or might just be holding his own, because I mean, this guy looks like he's in a league of his own at the moment, driving incredibly consistently 10 laps in, and 42 minutes in, so 2/10 of the way. So we've lost 2 people from this race, and in the back now, Kennedy Chikeka making a bit of a mistake, I think, in falling behind now. Veldman, who has unfortunately got that drive-through penalty, so, but he's still in the points. Tipsy as well is struggling in the back, but this is all to play for, of course. You never know what can happen. Tim Novak as well in this gaggle for P9. These 3 here fighting it out. I'm gonna try and keep an eye out on these intervals to see what happens. So we're gonna go back up here. Forgive me for moving around, but I'm kind of just trying to keep tabs on everything as it's happening, and it's not really working particularly well since there is quite a bit to cover. For example, I'm gonna go back here to this fight here as Chikeka goes a bit wide, lets Taurus through. Now Veldman gets past as well and up into P13. And now let's see if Taurus, who is making his return after a bit of a hiatus, can get the move done on Veldman, who's having a bit of a nightmare race, but trying to make up more ground on it if he can. So up front as well. So we have several different gaggles of cars here, or a couple different ones. You'll see if Olivier can reclaim that P9 that he lost after going onto the road, or off the road. See if Tim Novak can try and find his way through this as well. My phone is dying indeed, it seems, so I need to get my charger from here real quick. And also, see if I can make sure that I get it before my phone collapses. So hopefully, while I look away for a second, nothing happens, and I see that something did happen, but that's Tim Novak into the pits to make his pit stop. So trying the undercut on these guys. Whereas up front, now that my phone is charged, the fight here is going to be getting a little bit more intense as Rene is closing back within 0.8 of Hugo. So let's see what he is able to do. Yeah, Tipsy is running P16 unfortunately, so quite the shame, but it is all to play for here. We do have a race on our hands still, so we have more things to watch, thankfully. Excitement is to be found here, as well as Chumley still unable to make any ground on Pintado, who is driving pretty well at the moment in the Porsche as well. So I was told that the Porsche is particularly powerful here in Zandvoort, but that is not, then to be powerful, of course, you have to be a competent driver. And Pintado is showing his level of defense is very good at the moment, as Rene does react and goes into the pits. So he's going to be starting this out. Let's see if Hugo wants to go long, or if he wants to do if he wants to try and stay out and risk, or try the overcut. So see now, Pintado might be in a bit of danger, but still holding his own against P2, or the guy who's sitting P2. So this is all working well for Hugo and also Vandenhouding in the championship. Hugo will be able to claim, I think he'll extend his lead, in fact. Vandenhouding will be gaining some ground as well with the win here, if he does claim it. So we're going to keep an eye out on where Rene comes out. I think he will come out here. Yes, he's coming out of the pits, I think, ahead of Timo on track. No, he doesn't. He comes out behind these guys. So let's see. Yeah, he's actually coming out as oh no. Okay, and that's it. Yeah, all from That is a huge, huge, huge error from Rene. 30-second stop and go penalty, and he decided, no, that's enough, that's the race over. That is a big disappointment there, Rene making a mistake there in the pit exit. I think he sped into the pit lane or something. That is a huge disaster, so to speak, from him. And that is his race over. I can't, Vance, no! Yeah, I can't believe that happened. And Hugo and Van Nutting both go into the pits now. So the race leaders both going in. So Milos will take the current or provisional lead of the race, but is going to be, or is of course not the net leader of the race. So let's see if he can extend this gap and get a move on it while these tires are nearing the end. So Sam Chumley as well goes into the pits. So he's trying to get the undercut on Pintado. So let's see what he does. One of these two need to react now. So Carson, Olive went into the pits first, so both the teammates of these two went in first, and now these two will probably follow suit this lap around or so. But that is a big disappointment for Rene. He was driving very well, and just like that, it was all over. So very unfortunate, very, very unfortunate. As hello Joel and everyone, I see you all are here. But 4.6 seconds between Hugo and Van Hutting as Milos makes a mistake, goes onto the grass there. That might give Carson a bit of a look-see into this fight now, but he does hold his own. So let's see now. People are starting to finish off their pit stops. Chikeka going in as well. Antoine Olive exiting the pits. Tipsy, Taurus, Veldman, Timo, Pintado, Karsten, and Milos all have to make their pit stops here. Let's see if these two are going to go into the pits now. I believe not. Yeah, both of them actually. That is a bit of a late one from Milos there, actually, deciding last minute, but I think he'll get away with that as he puts the limiter on, gets it into the pits, and let's see where these guys are coming out now. So Hugo losing time actually here. Van der Hutting getting away. 6 seconds is the gap now almost. So this is not worked out particularly well at the moment. But Van der Hutting does have clear air, so this is working out. Hugo is struggling a bit here. So let's see, 45.4 last time around, 44.6 for Van der Hutting. So the times are not looking good for Hugo. As Veldman comes in for a scheduled pit stop this time around, or a scheduled visit through the pits, I should say. See where the grid files out now. So we'll see. Keep an eye on these two to see who comes out first. As you see the ghost effect in the pit lane takes effect, and both of them now get a move on it there. Milos might have gotten a little bit extra time there. 1.2 is the gap there between them. Chumley is coming across now. Let's see where Pintado is. I know that is a fight to watch out for. I think he might have gotten it here as Pintado does not. Yeah, Pintado is a bit slow out of the pit exit here. Let's see. Yeah, Chumley is ahead now. So Olive is coming across here. Let's see if he's jumped Timo. I think he's jumped him as well, actually, potentially. Yeah, he just about jumps Timo. So let's see where Novak is now. There he is. He's well ahead as well. So behind Chumley, Olive there. Timo losing several positions now, I think. Yeah, down into P14, I believe. So it will be P12, I think, since Tipsy and Taurus have yet to pit. But at the moment, Milos does have a podium position. I think last year he finished in a similar place. Yeah, Milos bounced off the walls there in the pit lane. I did see that. I was gonna say, I was like, maybe I don't want to call that out because it might have just been lag, but yeah, I don't know if it was or not, but Tipsy is P2 at the moment. So let's just end the race here, guys. We're gonna cut it here. We have a red flag for because I said so, and that is it. So Taurus wins, Tipsy P2. Yeah, we'll call it there. I'm gonna give a shout out though to Tipsy. In SLR, if you guys have not watched these two races, I suggest you do it. I for one am not going to, because I got killed in both races, which left me feeling a bit upset, so to speak, especially considering it was my home race in Australia. But if you did watch them, there was some crazy late race action in SLR, particularly with a late safety car, and an insane mad dash to the lights. And the man there, Mr. Tipsy, the voice of EGL himself, has pulled off what I call the master stroke. I do not live in Australia, Joel, but I was born there, and I am an Australian by birth, so that is my home race technically. But as I was saying, Tipsy pulled off what I call the master strat, which was not get any penalties and then risk the safety car, so to speak. The safety car came out, bunched everyone up. He got, I think he got 1 penalty or so, and because of that, he jumped all the way from like P14 or P15 on the road to P6, which, considering the level of skill in SLR, if you have seen the Tier 1 grid, that is a very, very, very fantastic result to have. So shoutouts to Tipsy. Meanwhile, let's talk about this real quick. Tim Novak has reclaimed some ground here and is back up into P6 with the strategy. Might be working with the strategy, sort of working into his favor here now. So at the moment, this is looking very good for the Ferrari mission win now. Grazie Ragazzi Racing in the constructors, I should say. Whereas it's not looking very good for Barrel Roll Racing, I believe. Yeah, they're running. Chumley is running P5 here, and his teammate, I believe, is not in the. Yeah, Costa is out of the race. So unfortunate for them in that aspect, but I don't think they're really focusing too much on the constructors' battle. Chumley focusing more on the drivers' battle because he is still fighting it out with the guy who's chasing him down right now. So for his sake, he's not losing too many points since Hugo is not winning the race at the moment, or is well behind the leader at the moment. But the battle for 6th here might be heating up eventually. Born on Mars, but I don't live there. I'm sure Tipsy was as well. He was born in somewhere cosmic, being the space man he is, loving things and aspects about space. As down the inside, Novak has a look, unable to do anything there. As what has happened here, I think Karsten has made a bit of a mistake here and lost ground on Milos, and now that gap is up to 5 seconds, so Milos has some breathing space. But now the one who does not have breathing space here is Sam Chumley, trying to hold off the fight from Tim Novak. So I am certain the FIA will be having another look at him, unfortunately. But let's see. Joel having some fun in the chat, that's good. I'm glad people are enjoying this in the chat. We're halfway through the race now, as we heard there, as Novak might be in the slipstream here. Is he going to have a look there in the Bentley? I'm fairly certain. I don't know if I think the Bentley has good straight line speed. Judging from the endurance race in Monza, it was fairly interesting in a straight line, but yeah. That's may have been due to the fact that we were running some suspension damage. Bit of a front lock up there. I don't know if that was just a glitch or not, but I rarely see the fronts lock in these cars since there's ABS. McLaren is definitely among the fastest in the straight. Okay, yeah, I know the Lambo is very fast in a straight line, correct? It's the Lambo and the Mercedes are very fast. The one race at Paul Ricard. McLaren OP straight line speed, yes. Perhaps we should have done the McLaren for the Enduro, thinking about it, because oh my goodness. So down the Mistral, Terror claims that he gained half a second in Paul Ricard. If you guys know that, the back straight and on the track there. Very interesting to know. We're not racing Paul Ricard here in this league, but my two teammates, as I mentioned, Mr. Veldman, Hugo, and I will be racing it, I believe next month, or not next month, in September, so just under 2 months' time. Yeah, we will be racing Paul Ricard, or I think it's Nürburgring first, then Paul Ricard, but in a couple weeks, next weekend, I believe next Saturday, so not this coming Saturday, we will be racing Silverstone. So I need to learn how to drive Silverstone, so we'll see how that goes. I'm a bit excited. My first run at the endurance racing was interesting because I actually was it was my first time driving an online race in these cars, and it went somewhat decently. As we do have a fight here with oh, that is okay. Come on, okay, yeah, that is interesting defense from Moberg, moving a couple times maybe too much, and giving Veldman a bit of a scare there. He had to hit the brakes. I don't know what that. Okay, it's Silverstone, Nürburgring, and then Paul Ricard last. So in October we're driving Paul Ricard. Okay, thank you, Jack. He's doing it with us. He's in a different split though. He's in the good split. We're in the what Mr. Incognito would reference as the bow split from iRacing. So I'll tell the story, I guess, while we're watching some of these battles pan out here. I'm keeping an eye on some of these gaps. So the way it went down, Hugo started us off, and we're driving the Lambo. We were first in the class, I believe. We qualified third on the grid and first in the class, of course. Hugo got caught up by the two Bentleys behind us, who were a lot faster and seemed to be quite rapid in a straight line. So I don't know if the Bentley is just very fast in a straight line or something, but somebody can confirm that on me. But they were quite fast in us, and they just caught us up. So Hugo decided not to fight them, and instead decided to make a gap, because since I'm new and he knows I'm not very comfortable, wanted to make it so I could just drive and be comfortable. So shout out to Hugo for that. And he pulled about a 20-second gap to the cars behind. And then things began to look up, because one of the Ferraris in front of us made quite a catastrophic error and spun off nearly, and then P1 had a 30-second stop go. So we were running P3 and quite comfortably, like 6 seconds. I had a gap behind, and I was keeping it fairly clean. As we got yellows behind somewhere, I'm gonna keep an eye out. Where is this on? And that is Kennedy Chikeka out of the race. They're pulling over and retiring. As Veldman and Moberg go wheel to wheel. Moberg, ooh, bit robust there. Veldman on the inside there. Let's see if he gets the move kept here, and that is it done. Very good job to him. So up to P12 for him, recovering this a bit and trying to catch up to Ollie Stricker, who's also having a bit of an unfortunate race in the back as well. So back up front here. The what is it? So as I was saying, I had a fairly comfortable buffer behind to P3 or P4, and then even if he caught me up, which I was expecting, it would have been fine. I came across some backmarker traffic, and this was last place in the race. At the second chicane in Monza, for those who are familiar, went through the left hand. And on the right hand, they went off the road, so I assumed, okay, they're letting me go. So just in case they came back onto the racing line, I went a little bit wide, like to the inside of the corner. So I went slow in so I could give them space back onto the racing line. They chose to just rear end me, or side swipe me, and put me into the gravel and kill me. So a bit of a baptism from hell, so to speak, of a what you call it, of a intro to endurance racing. So that is what we call bow split, as Mr. Incognito mentions to us, and he knows very well from iRacing. But yeah, Jack unfortunately also having a bit of an interesting race. Timo and Chumley driving it very well. So this guy here, of course, driving it well, putting them first in class, and Timo driving a solid first stint. But then Jack, unfortunately, 40 seconds of damage and crashing out. Unfortunate for him. You got to learn somewhere though, so don't worry. It's okay. We all had some difficult times. Yeah. So yeah, Novak is struggling to overtake simply because of the straight line speed of that McLaren. So I figured out that it was good, but not to the extent that Tara was telling me. So that's interesting to note. But yeah, everyone finishing here is going to get points, so that's at least a positive. So we'll see what is. Yeah, it's all fun and games. Yeah, it's all fun and games until you get taken out by last place from P3, and then end up P27, whatever, with like a minute of damage. And it was just really, really unfortunate. I'm very self-critical. I felt like I let the team down, but I have to remember that it was no fault. It was at no fault of my own, technically, because I was doing everything I can to avoid an incident, and I still got hit. I did the correct thing, which was go off the racing line to avoid them coming back and rejoining dangerously. But what more could I join? At that point, if you're going back
side is just like unfortunate. Yeah. But anyways, this is showing to be very difficult for Novak against this in the slipstream. And mentioned up front, yeah, like Van den Hutting, aka Light Cruiser, he is 8.3 up the road from Hugo, and Milos is 2.8 up the road from his teammate. So this is just gone off the rails for him. So very disappointing race, unfortunately, or not disappointing, very strong race. I'm sorry, from Light Cruiser. I'm sorry, disappointing. I don't know why I'm saying it's definitely not disappointing, unless he wanted to be 10 seconds up the road. But very solid race from him, showing the pace the last round and now again this round. So, can we get an onboard down the main straight? We can. So let's see. I believe you want. I'm sure you want Mr. Novak. So we're gonna get a visual of the Bentley versus the McLaren in a straight line. You can kind of see it here. It's a bit laggy. My apologies, but let's take a look here. It's kind of keeping it like a bit, or it's just keeping it modest. You'll notice the shadows are a bit off as well. That's my shadow settings. Just for the frame rate. But yeah, we're right on board a little bit with Chumley here as well as he goes. See how he attacks his corners. Yeah, same speed with the draft. That's insane. The speed of that McLaren. As I'm gonna go back here as Veldman still trying to put the pressure on onto Ollie Stricker, but also still falling under pressure from Veldman. So let's see who's going to be able to win this battle out. So right on board with this, so we can see both things. You can see the mirror there, and you can see the front there. But right now, Moberg trying to find his way back. We got yellows there. I think that might be Marius Torres off the road. No, it's not. It's. Oh dear. Okay. How do I get this? There we go. That's Hugo off the road and out of this race potentially. So no. Okay, that is a big disaster from Hugo, and he seems to be out of it. Yeah, he might be done with this. Yeah. So the championship leader has binned it into the wall here. And made a catastrophic mistake, and yeah, he's out of this race now, potentially. So I don't know what's I think something's wrong with him, or it's not me. Yeah, I'm not lagging. So oh, Hugo's wheel disconnected. Oh, okay, so he's had a technical failure, so to speak. So that is it for him. Big disaster for him, and the championship has been blown wide open now, guys. All through no fault of Hugo's own. So this might put Van den Hutting up into a potential lead of the championship as he comes around to lap Hugo even. So that's it for Hugo, I think. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I can't believe it. That is a massive, massive disaster for his championship. Looking to gain a bit of ground and a bit of leeway in the championship to now definitely losing the championship lead as it stands, because Chumley is going to jump him, and Van den Hutting might even jump him as well, because he's going to claim maximum points here. So that is huge. That is a huge disappointment there, and Hugo boxing now and is out of the race. So I thought that the yellows were for somebody behind. My apologies, but no, that is it for Hugo in this race. So I can't believe that happened myself, and we in the stream cannot believe that happened either. That is the drama of the finest order here in Zandvoort. We thought we were going to get a boring race. We have not had that at all. We've seen some epic battles here, and we're seeing an epic battle here for 10th place now. What was 11th is now 10th, so let's check out what is going to happen here. This is Veldman and Stricker trying to fight it out. Let's see now if... Okay, let's see if Stricker can hold his own against these two battling cars. Let's get back on board. So it turns out you can do the you can mess with the FOV here. Okay, control and the arrows. But right now Veldman not able to do much. Novak still. Oh, that is a wide egg corner there. Alright, Stricker goes a bit wide. Veldman tries to have a look, but avoids any contact there. Tries to get the place, but loses out. So let's see Moberg covering both his mirror as well as Veldman's covering Stricker's mirror. So let's look behind. Let's get the back camera here. I wish I had macros for this, but alas, we are gonna work with what we can here. So let's see if Veldman is able to do anything with this. He is looking very racy, trying to reclaim ground that he lost here in his home race. P10 would be a good recovery from the back after a drive-through penalty. And the misfortunes of others, very big. Yeah, crashing suit, high pressure situation. I wouldn't put it past them, but I think Nico is a solid racer, and so is Ollie, and Moberg I have not seen much of, but is showing a bit of maturity here. So we'll have to see. I personally don't see. I only see disaster happening if they're wheel banging, but at the moment it's looking a bit scary. Moberg is covering the mirrors, but he's not really doing much, and Nico did get a bit close there to Ollie, but holding their own at the moment. It won't turn back on. Oh dear, we have got a severe issue for Hugo now potentially. But here is a slipstream now for Veldman. Let's see, Ollie squeezes him to the inside there. That is robust defense. So that is not gonna be much as he goes a bit wide there. Is he gonna get the move done? And he does. Does he? I can't see. Let's see. I gotta get these there. They're going wheel to wheel to there into turn 2. There's a bit of contact there potentially. No, there isn't. And there, Ollie does lose the position. Veldman gets it moved on, and there you said it, Terror. Contact there. Moberg too aggressive there, and that is the second time that he has run into something here. Moberg running off the road there, trying to get the position back. I think, like we said, it doesn't matter. But the FI is not going to care. But that is good sportsmanship nonetheless. That is disaster of the finest. Why do you have to call it Terror? You can just say, oh, these guys are racing good. Nothing bad could happen, you know. But alas, we gotta have the jinxing. These two still fighting it out, but I can't believe that. I'm really sorry, Hugo. Hopefully, maybe we can figure it out after the race. I know I had the same wheel as you, so let's see if we can figure it out. Yeah, Moberg. I think Moberg goes into the pits and retires as well. So we only have 13 drivers remaining. So high attrition here at Zandvoort. So, oh, it might have to cool down, but still. Oh, okay. Well, Hugo, I can try and help you out afterwards if that's need be. So this is probably the last battle we're having here on the road here in these final 14 minutes of the race. First time, yeah. If this is the first time you've used it, then that's a problem, because I know that wheel does heat up. I know what wheel you have. It's a Thrustmaster TMX. I had similar issues with it. Sometimes it would turn off, like especially in 2017, F1 2017. I had the issues. I mean, it was a solid wheel, but wasn't the best wheel. Since it was small, it would cramp my hands. But yeah, I wasn't particularly fond as well of the force feedback on it, but it was a solid wheel to get the job done, and I recommend it to anyone getting into sim racing. But what a shame. ACC force feedback. We'll have to see it. Maybe that's it. But see up the back here. Tipsy does get his way back up into P11, so claiming a few points here. So good job to him. I don't think turning it down would do much, to be honest. Maybe it would, but it usually does. I've tried it in F1 and it didn't really do much for the temperatures. But that is F1, of course, weaker force feedback, so let's see. It really depends with the gear-driven force feedback wheels. It sometimes does cause issues, sometimes it doesn't, yeah. Who knows? But anyways, with the belt drive wheels, it's a whole different story, I would believe. Maybe temperatures are different, of course, but anyways. This fight still, of course, Tim Novak still unable to get anywhere near Sam Chumley, who's now in P4. So claiming a lot of points in the championship towards this, and might be reclaiming the lead. So 12 minutes to go as well. up front now, Vanden Hutting. I know we haven't seen much of him, but he is absolutely gone. Milos driving consistently in P2 here, just needs to keep it on the road. Karsten not making ground, but in a podium position now, so looking to claim his first in ACC, I believe. But let's keep on with Vanden Hutting for a bit here, and then go back to Novak and Chumley afterwards. See how he attacks it. I've been told that the Audi on the curbs is not particularly good. I don't know how much curbs play into effect here in Zandvoort, but it might not be as bad, and Vanden Hutting is managing it well. But now this might be enough of a tow here to get the move done. Let's see if Tim Novak is going to have a look down the inside. He is not going to have it there, but unable to do it here. So let's see. So at the moment, we're down to 13 drivers still. So Ollie having a bit of a nightmare race, getting completely wiped up in 2 incidents there. Veldman has taken off now, so that battle's over. This is the last battle. Oh, back to pad. Hugo back to pad. That's interesting. We know the pad is OP in F1s, but for ACC, I would highly doubt that. So let's see. Let's see now. Is that a look for Tim Novak? It's onto the grass, so he's not really. Yeah, he's gonna be compromised on the exit here. Not what he needs. Let's see if he can find a way through. We still have 10 minutes to go, so it's really slowed down here at the end of this race. So now this might be. Let's see if the tow is enough. I still don't think this is enough. Let's see. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, he's like Tara said, he's right in his slipstream, and he's not gaining anything because of the straight line speed of the McLaren. As you can see how much more grip he has on the rear end, or on the end through the corners, but it's just not working out for Tim Novak. Chumley driving very solidly at the moment. I'm going to keep on board here for a bit because I want to see. I'm just going to give a visual of the how the pressure is being applied from Novak, but this is a good run here. This might be it here. Let's see if he's able to get the move around the outside here or compromise Chumley's exit there. He is unable to do it there. But yeah, he kind of compromises his own exit, in fact, and Chumley gets away with it, but let's see if he can able to make it up here. Yeah, Chumley showing. That's a bit of an outbreak, or a bit of a late break from Novak there. Chumley, yeah, for 20 minutes has been under pressure and shown no signs of cracking at the moment, as pointed out there. So what I'm going to do is actually wind me up OB here. There we go. See me on board now. Let's see in the pressure if he can apply any more pressure. It doesn't seem like he's going to be able to catch up here, because I mean, again, look at that. No straight line speed compared to that McLaren. So Chumley taking this to his advantage, taking the track layout to his advantage, and driving very consistently and doing what he has to do. Novak trying to do what he has to do as well, which is apply as much pressure as he can, but even that is not enough. Not that he is doing anything wrong, it's just that both of these guys are doing everything right. And if both of the guys are doing everything right, then that is solid drive from both of them, and this is what we will get. And very well done to both of them, driving or doing this kind of or driving to this kind of level up front. Let's give props to Milos, who has had what he would describe as quite a poor season for his standards, and it's sort of true. He did finish P3 last season and drove very well, podiums, consistently pole positions here, and he was on pole here last year, or last season, I mean. But P3 in quali today, so driving very well. And this season in the Ferrari has not had the success, whereas his teammate has, up until this moment, through no fault of his own, having a solid season. But Milos driving very well. From the front, the Bentley could look like it eat the whole McLaren. Yes, it is. It's a big boy, so to speak. So let's go see round whatever it is at this point of these two. See the run that Chumley gets, and see the run that Novak gets. Still, it's gaining on him a little bit, but it's not enough. He's got to be right near him. So. Still unable to do anything, but as I was saying, Milos not having a great season per se, but this is a solid drive from him. Making a bit of mistakes here and there. I mean, it doesn't seem like he could have fought for the race win, seeing as Van Hutting is absolutely rapid at the moment, but he has been doing a fantastic job today, and I will give him props, and I'm going to already probably try and interview him for this one, so and if Van Hutting would like an interview, I'm going to try and get him prepared, but we're 6 minutes here to the end, so we're about we got about 4 laps to go or so of the race. But now again, you see through these twisty corners how much speed Tim Novak is able to gain on Sam Chumley here, but unable to make it fully work. Gap is 0.28, but I think that's a bit outdated. I think it might be a little bit more than that. You can see Bas Kessel in the background there, driving well, very good as well in P6. So this will be good points for the Trigon Racing duo, who are going to be taking first and sixth here, taking a good haul of points. But let's see now. This might be a run. Is it a run? See, Tim Novak might have to be late on the brakes, but that is too far to do it. Yes, and Chumley just claims the corner, does a good job of defending it here still as well. So the shadow layout here, yeah, that is a bit trippy. My apologies again. It looks funny because it's on low settings, so yeah, I have to do what I have to do for the stream. But the frame rate should be fine. It's at 60 at the moment because there's not many cars here, just a couple cars. Nothing else really going on. This is the main battle, but these two have been embroiled in it for quite some time, and it is very good to watch. And I know you guys are enjoying it, and this is what we want to see. Like how we want to see the mindsets. We can kind of see what they're thinking going through these corners. I mean, there's not much to think about in terms of this. I mean, it might look simple, but executing it is something entirely different. The task at hand, of course, for Sam is just to keep under, not crack under pressure. Novak's goal is to put the pressure on. So, harder than an ACC than F1. I mean, I think so, because the feedback is so much stronger in ACC than it is in F1. The force feedback in 2020, it's a lot better in terms of just like the feeling you get. But the feedback, yeah, is stronger in ACC in general. But yeah, we're approaching. I think these are going to be the final two or three laps now off the circuit. Zandvoort still unable to do anything. Tim Novak. Let's see what else we're dealing with here. Timo running on his own here. P9 Veldman slowly making ground on him in the Aston Martin there. Tipsy running behind him. Both of these cars, I mean, they're the same car, or the same team, but different liveries. Of course, the green for Ireland and the orange for the Netherlands. Mr. Pintado running a solid 7th place here for Squadra di Spin. Taking over, I believe, from, I think it was Push and Shane Power, who have not shown up in a while, so what a shame. I was looking forward to seeing them race. I know Push was looking fast season 1, winning a couple races, I believe, and let's see now if... Yeah, Novak is getting super close to these left-hand, or the middle sector here, and towards the end of it as well. But then, after the split here, he is just nowhere. Yeah, so the second sector is where the Bentley looks to be the faster car, but then the first and third sectors just seems like he can't get it. Which is unfortunate because they're both driving very well. So yeah, we're gonna have 2 more laps here, I think, of this race. Let's see if Chumley is able to get, let's see if Novak is able to get a run here. This might be it, but again, out of the slipstream. Look at that! But this is the closest they have been to each other. Let's see if Novak is going to send it down the inside. Here he goes. Late braking for Novak. Chumley tries to feed it around the outside. They come very close there to Novak, giving no space, only as much as is necessary. They're still going wheel to wheel through the carousel. Down the inside he goes, which is going to turn to the outside for the left-hand carousel corner here. Is he going to be able to feed it around the outside? This is good fighting from the two of them. They're still side by side coming up into the Snaily sector. Novak gets a little bit ahead. Chumley might have to concede. They may wheel bang a little bit, and that is the move done. Fantastic stuff. So there you have it. Novak, after all this time, right at the end, gets the move done. But let's see if Chumley can hold his own and get it back. He hasn't done anything wrong there, and neither has Novak. So if he continues to do this just one more time around, he might be able to reclaim that. Brilliant racing indeed. So McLaren struggles in the slow stuff. So yeah, it wants to break. Okay, so that's interesting. So slow speed. Yeah, you can see there Novak getting it, or getting the power down. I'm trying to take off with it. Let's see if Chumley is able to reclaim this. Let's see how that speed is. He's gonna have to gun it now. Last lap now for light cruiser, or abandoned hutting, I should say. Yeah, you can see there. Yeah, you're right. It's breaking loose. Interesting. Well, that's a battle for this is a championship battle. Yeah, whoever wins this is going to take, or is potentially taking the championship lead. So this is all to play for here. Let's see if Chumley is able to fight this back out. Last lap here. I think he's too far back, and that is Novak keeping it there, and that might be detrimental to the championship battle. So how do I get back? There we go. So that is potentially it there. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to get another run here. So this guy, meanwhile, as he approaches the final corners here, he's approaching the second sector, my apologies. He has absolutely bossed this race and absolutely handled it like a dream. It's been unchallenged and unfazed and dominating this. So from pole position, leading pretty much the entire time, and just being unchallenged in the black, or the gray, carbon gray and lime green Audi as he approaches the final corners now towards the line he is going to come. It has been an absolutely dominant weekend for the Dutchman in his home race. I should mention, crossing the line here as he approaches the final corner here is the man from the Netherlands, winning his home race 2 for 2 now in the last 2 rounds. Ruben van den Hutting in the Trigon Racing Audi, and that is a drive to be proud of for him, and a drive to watch out for, as he is now in this championship fight with a shout. And Milos Martika, after struggling this season, now takes a very, very well deserved and well earned P2, driving a fantastic race himself. Alexander Karsten getting a podium here, I believe his first, and driving very well. And Tim Novak, after a brilliant battle with Sam Chumley, takes P4 and recovers up to P5. But there is some steward inquiries I think might be coming his way. Not to judge it here now, but we'll see what happens. So brilliant job to him. Bas Kessel takes P6 for himself. Very good job. Antoine Olive is going to take this. Really excellent drive, of course. Olive takes P8, his teammate P3, so that's good points for them. Timo, not the strongest race, but a consistent one regardless, in P9. And Mr. Veldman, with a good battle earlier, takes P10. Are we going to get donuts? No? From anyone? No, we're not getting donuts from anyone. We're just getting a cooldown lap. Tipsy comes home for P11. Ollie Stricker is still fighting this out. We do have a last lap battle here. Let's see if Taurus is able to find this. Oh dear. I accidentally exited full screen. My bad. Is this gonna go to the line? Yeah, this is gonna go to the line. But he's not gonna be able to get it there. All he does hold off. So good job to these guys. That is the race for us there. So let's exit the session here. I don't have the new interview screen, unfortunately, but I do have this one here. So a brilliant race, one to remember. So absolutely fantastic for Zandvoort, especially. We got an interesting one. So very great job. So let's get. So, and I will get. So let's see. I'm going to bring Mr. Milos into the thing now. So here we have P2, Mr. Milos Martika. I know last week you told me that you were having a poor season and that you wanted better and you were struggling, and I think that is what you needed, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you drove
Uh,
fantastically, very
yeah,
consistent. A bit squirrely, I saw a couple times going off and onto the gravel, but you held it on. You held it brilliantly, and were able to fend off Karsten and claim P2. So fantastic job to you.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm really happy with the overall performance. I think I had some time in quali, but it wasn't really a lot either, and unlikely to have got me many positions. But still, it was nice qualifying. I got a pretty decent start, so I managed to keep P3 for the time being, and yeah, I don't know. I'm happy. I drove reasonably well. I didn't make really any major mistakes at all, and that's really what separated my race from some of the other guys' races, which well, didn't go that well.
Yeah, a lot of people
So
struggled. Unfortunately, Hugo, yeah, his wheel, I hear disconnected,
yeah,
and yeah, and then yeah, it was, I mean, but taking advantage, it was a high attrition race. You drove very well, and you got to be proud of that one. Good points for the championship, I believe, for the constructors. So fantastic to you.
yeah, it's good to at least have one car scoring high points when the other one, uh, you know, doesn't have a very good time. So
Yeah,
yeah, in general, I'm pretty happy.
yeah, you got to be proud of that one. Next few rounds, the last 3 rounds are going to be interesting tracks. How are you thinking? How are you feeling for that? I know it's Spa next,
Yep.
and then
Uh, yeah, then Bathurst and Suzuka. For Spa, I feel reasonably comfortable. I had reasonably decent pace last season, so just really gonna build on that. I think the Ferrari is reasonably good at Spa too, so hoping for a decent result, continuing on the Zandvoort trend. So,
well, I think you, judging by today, I think you have a good shot at all three. I know, I know you've been looking very good in quali for some of these rounds, so I hope to see the improvement continue. Good job to you today.
yeah.
Enjoy the champagne, enjoy the fireworks, and yeah, yes, grande a tutti, grazie a tutti.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I had to give the Italian little bit, but the for the mission win now, grazie ragazzi team. One of them at least being able to get the points. So I'm gonna try and get one more interview. I don't think anyone else is. I'm gonna try. I want Tipsy in because I know he had an interesting race. So while we do that, let me know for those of you who are still here watching. Let me know what you thought about that race. Because that was quite an impressive race. Especially for Zandvoort, it was an interesting one. As okay, let's get Let's get the guy in himself. I believe Tipsy is here. There he
here.
is, Mr. Tipsy Bob.
Mr. Triton.
I believe 2SRL Kenny strikes again for you. Lap 1 having some
Mm.
incidents and having to recover it. How is it from your side?
Well, did you see it?
I unfortunately did not see it. I saw you fall behind a bit, and I thought something happened, but I couldn't figure it out.
Uh, well, I'm going to submit the report. Going down the main straight, just being careful, of course, the first couple of laps, you need to brake a little bit early, as you know, because you don't want to run into the guys in front, etc., etc. And coming up to turn 1, it's kind of like an early apex, then you kind of run out a little bit, and then it's a late second apex. You know, it's an early entry point, and
Yeah,
then you run out, and come back in again. Right? Don't need to explain that. So that's what I was doing. Went for that to take my line as normal, and it was only, I think, within a millisecond of me realizing that I'm taking my corner that there was actually someone was sending a dive up me inside. It was a McLaren. I'm not really sure who it is yet, and I get boinked, and then I kind of left off to try and see if I can hold on to it, and then somebody else boinks me again, and that's me spins right round, and I end up last. I mean, it's the story of my life. It's like I feel like I remember one time, I think it was in the 2017 season of Formula One, whenever something would happen to Vettel, and then he would be put to the last, and then he has these great
18.
recovery drives.
Yes.
And I remember one time the interviewer saying to him after the race, "Oh, once again, Seb, it's a great recovery drive," and he just said with the most frustration, he says, "I'm sick of recovery drives," and that's kind of how I feel. It's like I got boinked to last, pretty much last, and it was just I actually was considering just quitting because it's a long race.
But all the
And it's
more,
not
Tipsy. If it is a long
yeah.
race, you have a lot of time to recover, and
Well,
I think you're. I
yeah.
think I'm gonna interrupt you here because I think your perseverance tells a very good story. Because
Well, generally, yeah.
I think
Sorry,
that
go on.
yes, I think that this is proof that if you just retire lap 1, I'm quite guilty of this. I literally did it myself on Saturday because I got killed turn 1 or lap 1 in SLR tier 1. And I mean, I was tired. I'd already just gotten out of an hour-long stint in ACC after getting taken out there. And I was just like, you know what, forget this. I'm just gonna go back to sleep because I woke up at 5 a.m. for this, and it just went to hell. But so I think that your story is an example of why you should never do that because look how it went. I mean, it could have gone. It didn't go particularly amazingly for you per se. I'm sure, but I mean, you did gain some points, and it is a good recovery drive regardless. I think.
Well, yeah, generally, it's something I've always said all the time. You know, never give up, even if you just feel like I really want to quit. Just don't give up. Just keep at it because it is a long race. It is Zandvoort, tricky track. A lot of people don't enjoy it, and things happen on track. Incidents happen. It's a very difficult place to overtake. Granted, you know that's just a given. And so I was just kind of betting on my consistency and hoping things happened up ahead. But as a team, Hagrid and I for the Silver Bass Turds.
You can't say that on stream. You cannot say that on stream, Tipsy. That is
That's our
Oh
no,
boy.
but
We gotta.
it's
We
our
gotta.
team
I'm gonna have to rat you out here. I think, Mr. Tipsy.
It's our no.
I know.
Hang on a minute.
You know I like the bad boys, Tipsy. You know I do. So
It's our team name, but
yes,
it's
yes, yes.
like Bass is in terms of like whenever you're brewing alcohol. That's Bass. You know, base, Bass, whatever. Anyway, I noticed that lap 1, I think the very beginning, Hagrid had to come into the pits. And I was like, oh no, lap 1, Hagrid's dropped down. And then by the end of that straight, in fact, I seen Hagrid coming into the pits, and then it was that main straight where I got taken out. So both of us got dropped to last and second last. And then I was actually ahead of him, and then I had a little issue myself. I was in two minds whether to quit or not. So I had a little issue. He got past, and then it was a kind of a just get the head down between the both of us and just grinded it out. So to finish, Triton, yeah, I think overall, as a team unit, Hagrid and I, for what's that, P10 and 11, I think that's a great result for our team and keep the points coming in.
I agree. I think you guys I think the problem, yeah, there was like it was just kind of bad luck as well mostly. I know Nico got the drive through but then he battled back very brilliantly. I'm sure he's not going to be very happy with the result,
Yeah.
but I still think you guys both were driving very well. Especially look at the attrition level of the race,
Yeah.
and it all the more makes it a lot more impressive and proof that you should not give up because everyone else is going to do so potentially, and you can recover from it. And so my congratulations to you. I know it's not exactly an incredible result, but still it is one that you should be proud of because again, I'm not just
Well,
saying that. I should mention I'm not just saying that because you and I have a great energy, being the great dynamic commentary duo, of course, or anything, just a hint to the stream
I'm
or
just
anything.
wondering how long it's going to take before I get DMs again saying, Tipsy, you're boring the chat.
Oh, imagine DMing that. I mean, the only thing you could possibly do bad, Tipsy, is say that Minecraft is not a good game. But you would never do that to me, would you?
No.
You would never
Of
do that.
course.
Correct. Exactly. Yeah.
I would only do that to people I don't respect,
So Timo is gonna have a word with you after I think this, but anyways, I'll let you enjoy the rest of your night, Mr. Tipsy. Thank you again for joining me. As
Pleasure, my man.
yeah, I'm gonna close out the stream here. So thank you, and I will talk to you later. So that is it for us today, I think, for ACC round 7. It says round 6 on the stream. I think we will fix that after. But yeah, I think that was one interesting race and one to rewatch. Especially, I mean, considering it is Zandvoort, I know it probably wasn't exactly crazy exciting or looking crazy exciting, but that is still a very exciting race to watch, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Tune in next week. I will pull up the calendar here. So, as you can see, we are 7 rounds through there, yes, in Zandvoort. We have 3 to go before the finale, and the championship battle now is going to be even more spicy than it could have been before the round begun, because now it is all to play for here for several drivers. I think we have 4 drivers in this now, and it's all 4 of them can claim this championship lead going into the final 2 rounds. So we are doing our final main pack track, which is Spa-Francorchamps, and then we will be doing the final 2 DLC tracks, which will be actually quite literally my home race since I lived very close to it, Mount Panorama in Bathurst, Australia, and then we will cap off the season in the mighty Suzuka circuit in Japan. So that is it for me today. Be sure to tune in. This week we have tomorrow we have 2SRL Tier 3 round 2. We have SLR tiers 4, 3, 2, and 1 as the week goes on. 2S tier 2 and 1 on Sunday, and then we will be back next week on Monday for ACC, and also a special event from SLR and GRL, who will be doing an 100% race at Silverstone. So a lot going on here at EGL, so be sure to subscribe and check out the channel and like the VOD as well. Thank you to everyone who came into view. Shoutouts to you all. I appreciate that, and shoutouts to the race winners again. Congratulations, and I will see you all next week. Thank you very much.